It always feels exciting to know that you're part of something much bigger than you.
COVID-19 is going to be long gone by the time it's February 2021. 1 year later, we know that it's not just a flu, that it's a lot worse than that, it's a pandemic and that it's worldwide.
We can all test positive before and then it gets cancelled. Anything can go wrong. The authorities can decide to cancel the event last minute and we cannot do anything about it. It was the first international badminton event organized in Europe in 2021.
My first thought was just disbelief and not understanding the majority of the reasons, of the restrictions, of all the measures in place.
In the beginning, I got pretty demotivated because I thought that it was never going to end. So you kind of want to get everything cancelled, we press pause, and then we just restart in 6 months when everything is better.
Suddenly you have to work from home. We were working from home for 2 weeks and then we couldn't even work anymore because of, nothing was happening anymore. I didn't work for more than 3 months. That is just strange. You don't expect this, you've never had this before in your life, no one has.
And then since September, I completely switched to we need to make this happen because we really want tournaments to happen. The qualification was also a logistical challenge on itself. It was in 4 different locations. It should have been 6, but 2 of them got cancelled. And then in each places, we had to bring in like 4 or 5 technical officials from abroad, 3 teams from abroad. So once this tournament happened, it became actually quite stressful to know, okay, can we hold the final stage?
We got the status because we only got it halfway January. But nevertheless, it was a needed thing because otherwise everybody had to go into 10 days of quarantine upon arrival, which is completely unaffordable for the teams to stay 10 days before the event even already in Finland. But the status helps you to get those kind of exceptions, of course, with the necessary precautions. We have 1 month's time, let's do this. Packing day is not that much different than other events, of course. You still have to pack all your branding, all your clothing for volunteers, the medals, the trophy, things like that. But besides that, suddenly you also have to think like, okay, we need masks, we need gloves, we need hand sanitizer. So it added some items to our packing list in general. Packing is the last thing that you do before you actually leave to Finland. So it is kind of like a signal like, okay, now we're good to go, we're getting there, and soon the event is gonna start. And honestly, after doing all the preparations, especially all the making schedules, testing protocols, kind of work that you normally are not used to do, you're happy that it's gonna happen because you just want it to happen at that point.
Wow, it's really a long way, to get Finland.
Definitely, it's one of the most difficult trip in our life because we use a train, use an airplane again, but train took from us around 8 hours. After that, we took a taxi 40 minutes and waiting for our plane around 4.5 hours. So now time in 1 hour we departing to the Helsinki to our airplane.
We had to do the COVID-19 test at the airport. Getting a stick up your nose is not something that you have on your bucket list if you want to do that. I remember my first impression was when I actually got outside of the airport after the test was, damn, it's cold here. It's -20 or something. But overall I was just excited, getting things started. Finally it's happening. We entered on Friday afternoon for the first time. At that point they were setting up the lights. Which is always the first thing that you do. They actually already hung up all the signs to make sure that teams knew where to go. We had, of course, a badminton bubble created with all the players, the officials, the organization even, that were staying in the hotel. They all got tested before arrival, they got tested upon arrival, and then again 3 days after, right before the start of the event. The green zone was every area in the venue where the players would be allowed to come. Only people who are tested are actually coming into this area. I got a phone call from the teams that they received the test result that it was positive. Having to talk to Ville about it, it was just the first thing that you do, of course. Okay, you want to go upstairs?
We have 2 positive cases from yesterday.
From the airport.
Really?
Yes.
So, one of the cases is a player who has already been tested positive once, 7 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we have that documentation. So most likely it's a false positive case. We need to have that confirmed, and we need to have that confirmed via a hospital who is taking a blood test. How we are taking these 2 to the hospital for them to have the necessary test, and so we can deal with it today.
They will need a blood test to confirm that they have the antibodies. So what we have now said to the both teams is that the players who were tested positive have to stay in their rooms, have to go into quarantine, as well as their close contacts. But luckily, they're both in single rooms and have not had any close contacts.
Okay.
We would have to order a COVID-free taxi, for example, something like that. She has been tested negative 4 times in the past 10 days. So they really are like, how is this even possible that she's now positive? Because they've been staying together in training camp and everything. So, and everybody else is negative. Yeah. We have to follow the protocol. So that player needs to go into quarantine for the next 10 days. Yeah. And according to our protocol right now, the team should be out. You just hope that it's not a cause for them to be excluded, and it's too late at that point to call any reserve teams.
Then the final test was done on the Monday morning at the hotel. We tested again all the people staying in the green bubble, and here it was to make sure that after those 3 days of semi-isolation that everybody was still negative, and that we could go ahead with the event and lower a bit the regulations. We just got the message from the English team manager that one of the players was tested positive at the airport. It concerns a player who had already had the virus, COVID-19, in December 2020. This player is isolated in the room, was already staying in a single room. England had taken its precautions and put all players in single rooms. So we're gonna have her take another antibody test to confirm the number of antibodies. And then hopefully that will turn out to prove that she had the virus and that she's in no way a danger to any other players or teams. I have some more great news. The referee has just got a phone from the airport testing that he's also positive. And he had it before. Just sent me the results of blood tests that he has done on the 21st of January. And there it was very clearly shown that he was above the level that he should have. And he just forwarded me, of course, his negative PCR and antigen test afterwards as well.
At that moment, we didn't have all the test results back from players and officials. So for those who had been infected before, they were sent to do antibodies test. And then there was one we were not sure about. So she was actually sent to make all kind of tests to try and figure out if it was a current infection or not. And then since we were still waiting for those test results, well, the purpose of this meeting was just to create some what-if scenarios.
Yuri is talking with the epidemiologist as we speak. I just sent him these names and nationalities of these 4 persons in question who have tested positive.
A small tweak is England and Netherlands. None of them received a call about them being positive. Both of them received an SMS in Finnish language.
The problem is that there is that you have been tested positive and you will be contacted by a doctor. That was the base information there.
So the only 2 who have received calls with confirmed positive cases from the airport is Shapovalova and Pencho. So in my opinion, England, should no longer be in quarantine because her PCR is inconclusive. She's tested positive for antibodies and she has a negative antigen test from today. So she does not have a positive coronavirus test. So in my opinion, I don't think we can keep her in quarantine any longer. And if you're also saying that the Finnish authorities would consider her having been infected in December as not of any risk to anybody now because she should have the antibodies now, which the antibody test yesterday confirmed. And the same goes from Netherlands. We are still waiting for his antigen. He has a positive antibody and he has proven that he has had it before. From Bulgaria, we are still waiting for antibody from his test yesterday. So in my opinion, Dutch player and English players are okay to play. The answers from the laboratories and Ruben, he's clear to play. So we are discussing now if do we want him to come to the hall to get
possible,
yeah, because then we're just trying to arrange that. But his antigen came back negative, and also his antibodies is high enough, so he's free. He's free. So we are trying to get him here now.
Like, how are you feeling? Like, how relieved are you after that news that you can come and train with your teammates?
I'm extremely happy. It was pretty annoying. I was a little scared. Also for my teammates, I really didn't want to, bear the thought that I would be the guy that would be positive and they wouldn't be able to play. So extremely relieved, and I can't wait to enter the arena and to get on court.
Amazing. Right, go and say hi to your teammates and go train here. Thanks, Ruben.
Thank you.
Anastasia, tears of joy. What does this gold medal mean for you?
Yeah, it's a really amazing feeling. Yeah, I'm very proud of that I'm represented Russia, and that's gold for Russia. And I want to say thank you to all who support me and my coach, all people. So thank you so much.
I personally think that must be the worst feeling for the player testing positive. That is a kind of stress and a kind of a feeling that must be very difficult to deal with before the start of such a big tournament. You're talking about teams here who would win medals in this event. You don't want to take a medal from any of your teammates in the European Championships.
Are we also willing to kick out a whole team, a whole nation from the competition if there's 10, 15, 20, 25% chance that she has not had it? It says in case of a positive COVID-19 test at the airport or in the hotel, a second PCR test will be conducted as soon as possible to confirm the result. If even one person within the team has a confirmed positive COVID-19 result, even after the PCR test, the whole test will be excluded from the competition to ensure a safe bubble. When you talk about safety, you cannot put a term like benefit of the doubt. But it's really something like this we need also to consider in a way. Saying these guys, they have been tested a lot of times. They were tested on arrival, they were tested again today. Nothing has been shown. If now the professionals are calling it a likelihood, a big likelihood that she is that she have had it, we keep her out because of the small potential risk that she still causes, but we give the rest of the team the benefit of the doubt because of the facts that we have and because of the math behind it.
Is there anything that can come out of the results now that means that they are not going to play at all?
Only if the antibody test is saying there is a likelihood that this is the first time she has it.
Yeah, if it's more likely or clear that she's suffering it right now.
Yes.
Then the team is out.
Yes.
Then the team.
Yes, absolutely. Hi, Victor. Victor, we had just a talk here now, trying to get as many facts on the table as possible to make some decisions. If the medical center comes back to us and say that it is likely that this is the first time she's tested positive, then your team will be out.
You don't want to lose one of your potential medalists that early already onwards. It's crucial that you have your 8 best teams playing there in the event, and Russia is for sure one of them.
3 different institutions have analyzed her results.
Besides the fact that you feel guilty towards your entire team, you also have the feeling like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have come to this event. This might be their only medal that they might ever get, and if you're the one responsible for not being able to get it, I can only imagine that that must be very, very difficult.
She is free to play. It's absolutely sure that she has had the infection before, so her body has enough antibodies to know she's not causing any risk. So she's ready to play, and your whole team can of course play as well.
I remember getting goosebumps because I was like, yes, okay, now we can go ahead. We can forget all about that annoying side and then just focus on the badminton side.
Badminton is happening on a high level. The athletes are also ready to play.
Danson's like my idol. He's the first person I watch on TV whenever I put badminton on. I spoke to my mum. She was just saying she was screaming at the TV and she's so proud of me. I think again tomorrow I'll be okay, but just now it's tough to take.
Time is really precious. There will be times when the motivation is not there. You don't want to practice hard and you think you're still young. Suddenly you realize you are 35 and your career is over and you haven't done that what you could have done. Keep the consistency all the time. Try their best every day.
The players have almost purpose again in life, that's what they are saying. But there's really not been many things to look forward to and targets and goals for them. To compete here again has been really, really important for the top level of European badminton.
Obviously, as a badminton fan, being involved is such an event is a great honor. When you think it out loud and you think, oh, I was part of the team who organized the first international badminton tournament of 2021, well, it feels super good and it feels unique because there are so few tournaments happening right now. I mean, I'm sure that if we would have told the 10-year-old Mathieu that he'd be part of such a big event, then he would have been super proud.
I think this pandemic has made us all think about a lot of stuff a bit deeper. I think people value the things that they can do in life a bit more now. If you're not able to do something for a while, then suddenly you know if whether you miss it or not. I think a lot of people have noticed that they definitely miss it.